I will say travel's a lot easier in the midst of snowpocalypse if we're going to do this over Zoom.
Oh, no doubt.
Can you imagine if we had to do these in person today? Oh my goodness.
We should have just built an igloo basically and like all sit in that, or like sit in a snowbank. We could all just be making snow angels and giving an interview that way.
I love that. That's a great idea, Cody. I vote next interviews, we do it that way.
Yeah, Steve, make that happen, okay?
I'll see what I can do. It would work so well with what we're doing here. It would work so well with the film.
Oh, totally. Winter film. What did Daniel call it again? Christmas adjacent, in the Christmas adjacent season.
Holiday hangover, Christmas adjacent.
Yeah.
Well, if we're talking about Cabin Connection, we could have an igloo interview. There you go.
Perfect.
Cody, Kat, thanks so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it. The film's a joy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was wondering, like, for both of you've worked on a number of a wide variety of projects. So what was it that brought you both to Cabin Connection?
We look like the Brady Bunch. We can almost look like we're looking at each other, Kat.
Right? Oh, I'm like this way. You look this way? Am I like
you
Are you up here?
No, you're over here.
Oh, the Brady Bunch was like the OG Zoom.
That's right. We do that thing. We pass the coffee cup to
Oh yeah.
Can we do that again? No. Do you want to take this? I don't remember the question anymore.
What brought
Sorry.
us to the film?
What brought you to the film?
Luckily, it was for me. I was very kindly thought of by the casting department for this film, and they reached out and asked if it was something I'd be interested in participating in, and I got to read the script, and I thought it was lovely and charming and grounded, and I was very, very fortunate to be able to work on it.
Yeah, I had a similar way in. Basically, I was offered the film and read the script, and it was really sweet as well. And I think what really sold me though was actually the first conversation with Virginia. We had a phone call, the director, and it was just very kind of casual, and I think she really kind of set the tone for me there, and I was excited to jump in after that.
I feel like we haven't got to talk enough about Virginia. I wish she had been on some of these with us, because I feel like she did such an amazing job of like letting us play, and I felt like she really trusted us, which was such a lovely feeling. And that she just really like fostered a lot of creativity, and also I found her so beautifully collaborative to watch. Like, she really trusted the crew, and I think gave them a real opportunity to shine and do their thing. And I always notice that about directors, because I think you can go one of two ways. You can have really micromanaging people, but I really admire directors who let the people they've hired shine, because that's why you bring those people on in the first place. And I think I wanted to say that I think Virginia did an amazing job of that.
Oh yeah, she was also very good at just like, she has such a good sense of working with us, of what she needs, but then also like moving on too. She's like, no, we got this, boom. Like it was so intuitive of her understanding of knowing what she had and what she needed. And like, I think that is the sign of a great director, is like one who's like, they just have a relationship that's really unspoken with everyone involved in the film, and then the film itself, of that understanding and the ability to kind of keep things rolling.
Yes. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, it really seemed like you guys had a great rapport. Not just the two of you, the whole cast was really, really great. I was wondering, like, for the both of you, had you worked together before? Had you had that? Because there's some great connection between the two of you.
We've answered this question a couple of times. I mean, I'll take this. I keep holding.
I withdraw the question. I don't want to know.
Really, I'm really paying for this.
Exactly.
I'm really paying for it.
Yeah, I feel good today. I get to lean into this again. Kat and I had worked together back in like 2016, I believe, or 2015, on a film called Girls' Night Out. And first day, you're trying to just kind of find some common ground, basically. And I obviously had remembered this experience, and I brought it up to Kat's attention. She was like, oh yeah, we did. Just like her her just
One
tons
day,
of credits have
7
gotten
years
away. It
ago.
just created the widest gap that she doesn't remember this thing. And me, I'm like barely working. I was like, yeah, that was my last job. So no, not really, but no, she was really sweet about it too. And it was funny because yeah, it's like a completely different film than Cabin Connection. Thankfully, we'll say. But
well, it's funny, you talk about being a different type of film. I love this genre myself. I sort of love the feel, the vibe. I said that, this is sort of I felt like it was sort of like a holiday film without it being on a holiday.
mm-hmm.
But one of the things I liked about this one that I thought really set it apart from the others is that there's a lot of conversations about love in this film. The romance films, they always set up the idea. Here's the romance. Here's the primary couple. Here's their connection. No pun intended. But this film really wants to explore some of these ideas. And there's one of the lines I thought was really interesting was they talk about whether or not people are hardwired to love. And I was wondering what the two of you thought about that idea, whether or not we're hardwired to love.
I think that we're hardwired for connection, and I think that like we've evolved off of it. I think humans we didn't sort of get to the top of the food chain without our ability to have that sense of community, and I think that love is definitely a part of that for sure. I think in the context of the film, I think that Kat has brought up points in the past that I want to avoid the idea that it should be sort of deterministic, because a great theme in the film, as Kat has said in the past, is that it is very much a deliberate choice that people are making. But I don't know. Maybe you can frame it a bit better, Kat.
Oh, I think you said it beautifully. I think that the desire for a tribe is something that I think is very, very strongly rooted in the human experience. And I think we are absolutely hardwired to work together for our survival. And I think Cody's dead on about that. I think the important thing when I think about love is I also think about, like, love can come in so many forms. It doesn't just have to be romantic love. And we can have a deep, deep love for our families and our friends. And I think there's something really special and often overlooked. Like, I know for me, one of the big things that I want to explore in my work in the future is like the love between friends, and like how our friendships can sometimes last over many, many, many romantic relationships. And I think so. Yeah, I think that's what this movie beautifully talks about. That you don't need romantic love to complete you. It's a lovely addition to your life if you can find it. But I think the importance of being your own person and knowing yourself before involving another person in that way, or never looking to for someone to fix you or complete you, is really important, because that's an unfair amount of pressure to put on another human being. And I think those are some of the themes that we really get into in Cabin Connection that I really like about the movie, because I think some of these romances we can sort of pin a little too much weight on the effectiveness of falling in love to fix our lives, which is often short-lived and can lead to more problems.
The necessity of it, basically.
The necessity of it. But do I think we're hardwired to love? I do. I mean, I think we're hardwired to love is in the sense of hardwired to connect and to find our people, whoever they may be.
I love that. And actually, Kat, even you mentioning there about the different ways of love, I think there's a moment, I think it's your character, I think it's around the dinner table, and she makes a comment about how she's currently single, but that doesn't mean like she's good.
That's one of my favorite lines. Yeah, Hannah says, she says, I used to be engaged and I'm not anymore. Now it's just me, and I think that's pretty great too. And I think that's sort of like part of the thesis of the whole movie is really that. And I love that. And I'm glad that it spoke to you too.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it, because a lot of times in these romance films, the person is out there and it's like there's a piece of them missing. But
It's like codependency in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there really is, but that wasn't the case here. I didn't feel like that was the case here. You know, spoiler alert, the couple gets together at the end, but it's not out of a necessity or any sort of need. It's just there's a draw, but I appreciated that sort of balance to it. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I think this film is sort of an antithesis of the formula to some degree. I think that both characters were sort of avoiding it to some degree, and that through sort of the circumstance and I guess by sheer will of the universe that it happens. But I appreciated that about this story, that's the real sort of adversity to have to overcome when both characters are sort of not really looking for it in a way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, having said that to you both, like you said, this is a different type of romance film. Did you learn anything about about love from your involvement in the film?
You want to take a cat?
No, you go. I have to think about that one. If you have an answer, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's not that I necessarily learned this, but it was a good reminder. I brought this up in the past too, of the part of love, I think, is about trusting in that sort of safety net of the people we love. And it's trusting in that those people will catch you who really care about you. And it's about that ability to be vulnerable, I think. Right. And I think it's really what the world needs right now, where we are all sort of locked away in our homes and maybe, you know, guarded to some degree. And that can sort of be depressive, you know, passively over time. And we really all, I think, need to practice finding those people who really emotionally trust and allowing ourselves to sort of take that jump. And this film, there's specifically a scene that I kind of got a little emotional over on the day, because I've been sort of missing my family, and these people felt like my family. And there was a sort of a genuine vulnerable moment that I felt they were genuinely there for me. And it was a good physical reminder of like, oh yeah, like this is really what we need right now. I think also to move forward, you know, in a world where there's like a ton of tribalism right now, and a lot of people are kind of externalizing their trauma, and there's sort of a subconscious unwillingness to allow themselves to open up that way too. And so this film for me was a little reminder of the importance of that right now.